And here we are. It is Friday Eve. We're going to be easing ourselves into this evening with a little Keystone Reforged. Let's just do a quick sanity check. We have me, we have a map, we have sound. Hopefully we should be good to go. Get my drink next to me. Get my little ninja glove, and I want to thank you for viewing. Thank you so much. This is Keystone Reforged. This is the second level. Last time we worked on this, we were drawing the bridges there. We were getting them drafted in. Tonight, I think my objective is to finalize the bridges, maybe start marking off some roads. Now, here's the deal. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. We got touch on. There we go. Okay. Let me actually bring up what we're kind of recreating. You see this? That was an old map. I drew it about 30 years ago. And I'm not going to be drawing it like this now. We can look at temples and say, I'm going to draw a temple in this location. But everything else, I want to take the spirit of it, treat it as canon, but really drag it kicking and squealing into 2021. So that means, okay, there may be a main road here. We might keep a plaza here, but otherwise everything else changes. And I can give you an example of that. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to turn off layer 2, and I'm going to show you layer 1. If you've not seen this before, this is the reimagined version of this. So if I turn this on and off, or off and on, I suppose. Look for the towers, look for the general shape, look for the general where the roads are positioned, and where that temple just to my left there, your right, is positioned. You see how we've kind of kept the spirit of everything, including the actual business square, or I should say the little merchant square. All of that's the same. But look at this area now, up here. I originally had buildings carved into the rock there. Decided to make that a mushroom farm this time. And built a whole little dungeon complex, a little mine complex off to one side. That's what we're doing. So you could look at it and say, oh yeah, that's Keystone Reforged. But everything else is different. So I'm just going to turn that off. We're going to turn off that. We're going to turn my layer 2 back on. And we could actually put this back on. And we're going to... I think we're going to mark some points. Let's decide... up and down areas from the level below. Let's get them marked. I think that's probably the important starting point. In fact, that is probably a good starting point. Let's go from there. Because let's use words. Let's use English words. If... Let me give you an example of this. Turn him off. Let's have one just visible all of the time underneath. Alright. But I'm going to draw... should towers draft? No, let's do another draft layer right here. Copy the layer style, paste the layer style. This is just going to make sure that it's red, and our bush is about that size. Okay. So I'm looking down on level 1 underneath. In fact, let me zoom over to this side because I know we've got one here. You see this walkway going right here? I want to now pick up that walkway on level 2. So we're going to do something like this, okay? So I'm just going to mark it off. Going to put a little arrow there. So when we draw level 2, we have a way of going down into level 1. We've got another one here. Look at this. Okay, so... Interesting. So, here... Maybe we actually come up into... the cave, maybe? So we actually have all of this area over there. Maybe we even like do this sort of type of thing. Maybe we'll see. But this here, this we need to make sure that we're accommodating for. Did I have no up and downs on this side? I feel like that's an oversight. Now we do have, you know, I'm gonna actually mark this because it was kind of my intention that had been hollowed out a little bit, and we've kind of got this stairwell here. Maybe there's an up and down through that stalagmite. But I am actually honestly a little surprised I didn't do an up and down ramp. Was I intended for them to get up and down different ways? Like, maybe this building here could have an up and down inside it, mayhap? Interesting, because if I actually look at layer 2, let's actually turn off my drawing momentarily so it's not so hard to see. In fact, why is my layer 2 like really... Oh, let's do this. I thought it'd be kind of fun to have this pyramid walk, have pyramids likely alongside it. But there's no ramp up and down. So apparently we did have one here back in the day. I genuinely have a little bit of surprise. I feel like I'm missing something. Maybe there's no up and down on the east side. But also these built into the actual rock. You know, maybe they have stairs going up in them. Look, there's another kind of big one right here. That I think could easily be an up-down. This is kind of, by the way, like a little sort of dungeon area. Alright, so maybe... Oh, here's a potential for another one right here. So let's just mark that off. I really like how that lava came out, by the way. I think that is literally the first time I've ever coloured lava. I think it came out okay. That is a little Otyugh area where they can dump their refuge if they're not dumping it into the lava. Okay, so don't have a ramp. So let's make sure that I am okay with the methods by which they are getting up and down. Well, and every single one of these towers has, you know, a way of actually going up and down as well. I suppose it doesn't have to be a freaking ramp, but ramps definitely would help with moving carts up and down, right? Okay. Okay, so I guess no ramps on the east side. Did I ever have any? I did. I definitely had some ramps on the east side. I must have decided just to go towards buildings. I don't know what the intention of that was. What about making it a stairwell up? I like that idea. Hey, Forrest! Yeah, it's been about 2 weeks. It has indeed. But it's all good. Life, things happens. What if we did... Well, actually, we don't even need to go around the corner. What if we just did something like this? And I will draw the ground floor. I feel like this should have been a ramp, though. I mean, it's hardly accessible, is it? But... And Forrest, when you're done with your super busy time, we'll connect on colouring and such. I'm not too worried. I've still got like 3 more layers to draw. We've got time. I do want to say though, Forrest, I'm not sure you were here when I was kind of doing a little sort of an expose of these multiple levels. But, let me turn off that. I want you to imagine this is the second level. And those are bridges above this. And I want to actually stack these layers at one point. Well, in fact, I'm going to stack them every single level. So, the second level, I want to have the first level, at least the streets and everything, down below, but slightly blurred, out of focus, you know? So we're going to have fun with this. We're going to have some serious fun with this. And then imagine the third level is going to have the second, slightly out of focus, the first, very much out of focus, get some real sense of elevation, plus all of those shadows casting down on the layers below. By the time we hit the third and fourth level, can you imagine how freaking awesome that could look? I think it's going to be stellar. Yeah, after your co-worker vacation thing. Alright, so I'm going to turn on this level again. And I think we're going to mark some space. And then, like roads and stuff. And then, we're going to get busy. So, if this is a ramp down, let's do something like this. Ramp down there, maybe it comes out here. Okay, something like that. On this, no, it wasn't on this map and this map only. But this map, I went absolutely gangbusters, adding little initials to every single freaking building. Is it residential? Is it a tavern? TA? A GU? Maybe a guild house? SH? Shop? IN? Inn? TE? Temple? And I don't like it. I don't like it. I think I'm going to do a video of Alyssa critiques Alyssa. And this is one area where I definitely moved on. I definitely moved on. It just doesn't even look particularly good, you know? Alright, but let's get the general... reservation of maybe road shapes, like reserved. How have you been anyway, Forrest? I know that you're probably dreading the busy couple of weeks ahead of you, but how's life been otherwise? I'm gonna get these main roads, the main shape of the old map kind of marked out, and then we're gonna change some things. We are absolutely gonna change some things. I kind of just want to pay a little bit of homage to what I did years and years and years ago. Alright, so we've got another ramp up here. This goes down to the mushroom gardens down below. Maybe something like this. I don't know quite yet. I don't know. And I might do something there. And I'm thinking about small little sort of walkway through to distant sort of fortification built into the rock over there. We'll see. Alright, you get to see how all of this comes together in a moment. Alright, so we have a temple here. And so I do want to make sure that we have a temple in that spot of roughly the same shape, but drawn better. There we go. And wouldn't it be kind of cool, actually, if there was an area like this that was kind of overhanging? I can imagine a balcony looking down. And while I'm saying that, let's turn off that layer. Let's turn on this layer, because I seem to remember there was a waterfall. We were going to have a waterfall coming down here. So this is a big dwarf gold statue. Kind of, I think I have him holding up this wall here, overlooking this. There's a little sort of drainage area right there. I remember talking about a waterfall coming down. So let's go back up the top now. Where the frick is this waterfall coming from? Questions, questions, questions. Congratulations on the second vaccine. And how's it going on the pirate game? I know you used art that you found and stuff, and I know that your layout or you doing layout is your professional career. It showed. It was freaking beautiful, man. It was beautiful. I feel like there's a disconnect. If I want a waterfall coming down there, I can't have a bloody big road there. I could, though. I could just have... Well, actually, more like this, right? Maybe the road comes out that direction. And there isn't a road here. I suppose... So the waterfall was going to come from the top. It was going to come from the top area and come all the way down the side of the cliff, past the 4th tier, the 3rd tier, the 2nd tier, right down to the ground. That's what we're doing. So really, it's in front of this big, huge temple here, which I like. I also like the idea of maybe there's some kind of behind the waterfall walkway or gantry that is actually connected, perhaps, to the temple. I think that could be used for religious purposes, ceremonies and things. What if we did something like that? That could be fun. What I want to do, though, is make sure... Where's my third layer? Third layer is doing this. You see, part of the problem I've got is I've actually pushed my walls back. I think what I might do on the third layer... What I did when I first drew this, I'm just going to kind of come to the side view here. And first I'm going to check out what you're saying right now. This looks like... How am I going to explain this? Two ways. This is kind of like how I imagine this city. A little bit like this. With like huge towers going up like so. And you've got these bridges connecting the different levels like this. And you've got the cliffs hollowed out like this. Right? And you've got the ground floor like so. And there's like a waterfall then coming down. And they've got like this big huge catchment area, fresh water, yada yada yada, that then runs off. I love this idea. A huge amount. Here's where I disagree with the version of me that did this 30 years ago. What I've actually drawn, and I'll get rid of the rest of that in a moment. What I actually did was this. Each of my levels is set further back. And I don't want to do that. It was more like a steep valley, you know? I think I want it more vertical, because a waterfall at the top would just like kind of run down the sides type of deal. And I think there's definitely some merit to that. But what I think I'm going to actually do is maybe a little bit in between. Like between the ground floor, it kind of goes back a little bit. But maybe kind of just keep this going on. Maybe even have a little bit of an overhang or something. But make it more vertical, I think. And so I want to align the waterfall to really kind of come down unimpeded, I think. But by the time it hits the bottom, then the waterfall would just be missed. Maybe I do need to catch the waterfall. Maybe I do need to catch it and kind of lead it down. Because that could be a feature from level to level to level, is they catch this waterfall. That could be fun. Forest, who is the colorist? Maybe you can have a beam of light for hitting the waterfall and making a rainbow. I love that idea. We are going to do that. A road that goes around the waterfall, I love that too. Because people would love to walk around it. Vertical looks better. The reason is they're more man-made. Have angle support beams, various sizes. Yeah, because because if they've got a road, they could have this type of mega shit going on. I'm gonna draw this on the side. This is definitely something that could warrant being drawn from the side. Yeah, you could get some serious awesome things going on, couldn't you? And that could actually have some interesting shadows. Okay, we're definitely going to do it. More vertical. I think leading the waterfall down the various layers, because it is a major source of water, is going to be a thing. Having the temple here, definitely. I love the... You know, so... I don't want to get sort of too hung up on physics. This is definitely getting into the realm of a fantasy city. But I love the idea of, like, some kind of bridge. Where is the edge of my level 1? It's right there. It's right there. I kind of want to have some statues coming out here. Kind of like winged statues, maybe. Like holding this bridge out. And guiding the water down to this edge. Let's get rid of... this, because it's only making it a little bit more confusing about where the waterfall's meant to fall. Channel could be, waterfall could be channeled down the statue robes. Oh, that's a nice idea. That's a nice idea. Can you imagine? You know, I actually think once I'm done with this city, I'm actually thinking I might get some artist renditions of this. Some no bullshit artists. I think this is an incredible city. This could be an incredible map. I bet I could get a kick-ass writer for it too. Really make it something special. Things you can visualize. And I can visualize being on the ground, looking up, seeing these massive statues reaching out, their robes funneling the water down from levels above, bridges crossing over me. The visual just blows my mind. I love the visual a huge amount. But how am I going to get a bridge between these two areas? Or do I bring the bridge out from here? Do I do this type of thing? A little bit like that walkway over the Grand Canyon. Do I do this? Or... By the way, Forrest, I wanna just acknowledge, I've been doing the whole delete on a mask, a layer mask, all the time now. All the time. I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna say it on video. It's gonna get saved to YouTube and it'll be there forever. I really, really, really have appreciated your help in Photoshop and in design. I actually really appreciate you encouraging me to go to InDesign for the cosmology map. I truly mean that. It's been huge, man. It's been absolutely freaking huge for me. Not only am I learning a lot, but you're kind of raising the bar for me a little bit by saying, do this, come, reach here. And so you're kind of bringing me outside my comfort zone, and that's a good thing. I get clients do that with maps. You're doing it with my tools. And I've really, really, really been enjoying the things that I've been picking up out of Photoshop. Because otherwise, I just go to the same tools every time, and sometimes a wrench looks like a hammer. But you're like, no. Try using this instead. And it's been great. So once I actually remember it, it goes in and I use it. How is the cosmology map coming along? So I worked on it last night. We are about halfway through the seas, I want to say. I actually got distracted at one point and I started adding all of the Chaosium titles, which bounces around then into other letters. But I wanted to get the cosmology or the Chaosium kind of cluster done because I knew that they would have quite a few games to do. So it's going to be a labor of love. And I know I'm going to have to do all of the labels and all of the games before I can start on the actual nebula and the planets and the moons and the suns, which is going to mean, honestly, front-loading the boring stuff. But it will be one of my best maps, and I want to have it completed for January, February next year, because I'm going to take it to GaryCon with me. I'm going to have a print run of that map to sell at GaryCon. it's going to be one of those maps where people love looking at it, even though the skill set behind it is not that high. I think it's just going to pluck at the right strings, you know, on a few people. It's like going to be... How could you like not add 1,000 role-playing games by year to a map that visually looks very pleasant to the eye, and not have geeks and nerds just like losing their shit over it? Exactly, Forrest. Exactly. It's like at one point I wanted to maybe do a cluster like Chaosium, for example. And then I could get the nebula, I could get the suns and the stars and, you know, whatever on there. And show people what it's going to look like. But what if I have to move the labels? Then I'm fucked. So I'm just going to have to bite the bullet, do the boring stuff first. Then dial in font sizes, the font, where everything's laid out. Then start on the super sexy stuff. Anyway, this bridge... You know, these statues could be holding the freaking bridge. Oh, shit, what did I just do? There we go. What if we, in fact, I'm going to draw on this layer. What if the statues are holding the bridge, like so? Yeah. Yeah. We're going to do something like this, I think. And I might make it a little bit larger, but... that could be a fun thing. And for the layer above, I think I'm going to make sure that we're never kind of too much further back than that. The layer above kind of does this, the layer above that does that. We're not doing any of that. That's kind of not going to be a thing. Okay, so let me bring back my layer here. Then go to this layer, because I'm marking roads right now. Marking roads. Okay, so instead of kind of like this, well, I could do that. Actually, I could do that. Hold on. I was looking at the two bridges, but I don't need to look at the bridges, because the bridges are going to kind of join here. Okay. And I don't normally mark both sides of the road. But for this map, I think I will. I normally just mark one side of the road and then draw buildings. But on major avenues, I think it's okay. Because it helps you keep the width that you need. So something like this. This is a temple. Okay, so this is a major building right here. May not draw it this shape because this is one funky ass shape. But we'll do something like this. That is marked as a tower. I bet that's holding the roof above. Okay, I'm gonna actually make that a stalagmite. Big huge stalagmite right there. Then here we will have this road of arches, as I called it 30 years ago. Coming through like so. Maybe, you know what, maybe here we'll just have some kind of nexus of roads. Like so. I don't like the fact that we've got this other road here. We're not doing that. We're going to make that a minor road. But, actually, let me take a step backwards. Let's get rid of that. Here, I want to make a stalagmite. Because we're actually going to have, from the stalagmite below, I guess stalagmite, stalactite joined, we're going to actually have a way of getting up inside that stalagmite right there. We've got another temple here. This is kind of like a level of temples. That or I really loved my temples when I was younger. I was a bit of a nut for temples. It's like every god in the pantheon needed a temple. I grew out of that phase. Well, you know what? Let's go around there, like so. And let's take this road from here, because I'm a little bit of a fan of sort of semi-symmetry. So, first, my original idea for this city was, I actually have this entire binder that I typed up. I had this entire sort of city setting written, and I'm not going to tell you now that I fully remember it, okay? But it was based upon originally a race like the Arakocra. I'm not sure if they're still in Dungeons and Dragons, but they were basically a flying humanoid between the cliffs, created hollowed out sections where they would nest and live. And then the humans arrived, or other humanoids arrived, and they started to occupy these sections. They kind of like, you know, conquered the Arakocra and they chased them away. And they started to occupy these sections. And in this larger-than-life, high fantasy sort of type of thing, they started to build these towers and these bridges between them. So you could say all of the actual caves were there. But then when the humanoid races arrived, they would, from the ground up, started to build up and occupy those cave systems. So it was kind of a little bit of yes to both. The caves were there, the towers weren't, the bridges weren't. And then the humans built up and across, or even from the top and down. What I didn't do on this map to begin with is actually draw anything on the top of the cliff. And I think that was dumb. I think that was like a mistake. I think it was an oversight. I'm going to draw the top level, the cliff top, to this one. And imagine there's like a minor river up there, and that's what's creating the waterfall. LI. What the hell do you think LI stands for building? Library. Up here for thinking, down there for dancing. Alright, so if this road does this, I'm actually not convinced that this road would do that. We have a major bridge right here. And I don't, by the way, think that the bridge should be that big. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to change this road shape. And I think it should be narrower. Come here. So it's going to be more like this. I think this is what we're heading for. Yeah, so the bridges are going to be more like that. Which is still going to be plenty wide. Forrest says, I was just thinking if the lower levels were older, you'd be able to see more rock formation. Yeah. No, I kind of like that idea, because I definitely do have a lot of stalagmites and shit down there. Kind of show a aging process as you go down, so to speak. I can dig that. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah, okay. On that point then, let me hide level 2. Let me show level 1. And hide this. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stalagmites, stalactites. Let's call them stalactowers on that side. I have 3 over in the mushroom garden. This is also going to be a lot darker and stuff down here, right? So in this area here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. So when we do the next layer, maybe we just even count down a little bit, you know? Maybe we don't have any stalactite towers, like on level 3 and level 4 or something. I could dig that. I could dig that. Age, growth. By the way, I had this concept of taking this. So imagine we've got a ground floor, second, third, fourth cliff top, right? All coloured, all with little cave systems and the pinpricks of light in there and such. Imagine doing a coffee table with plexiglass printed with this on it, and layering them like a centimetre apart or so. Wouldn't that be kind of rad? Like, my brain wants to see that. I want to see that in action. Because I think that would look gorgeous. Alright. Just still marking off my roads. You know, I have this other road. Okay, we've got another stalagmite here, so we're gonna reserve that space. And then we've got this kind of courtyard area here. And the Nomic Road, which goes nowhere. Okay, good job. Good job, Faden, from God knows when. Look at this. Look what I did in the past. This plaza goes nowhere, does nothing. Nice one, Faden. I like to think about flow of traffic. And like, where would the city spend money? Where would it say you can't build there? Where would it have its plazas? Thanks, Han. Where would it actually, you know, have its main thoroughfares? Where are all the carts and the merchants? Where are the people living? I like to think about that type of thing. And so, like, having a road that goes nowhere, fine. A major road? There better be some kind of reason behind that. So if I'm going to have this, I think it would actually be accessed from this side. And I think this might be a lesser road right there. And here, I think from there, we kind of come up with this east side through road of 2nd North Bridge. What the? Hold on. I wrote this label in the early 90s. And this is the first time in 30 years I've said this out loud. I'm pretty sure I've never said this label out loud ever. East side through road of 2nd North Bridge and Aqueduct. That's the name of a road. Oh yeah. Just go down Overreach Road, and when you get past the shops on your right hand side, you're going to intersect with east side through road of 2nd North Bridge and Aqueduct. You can't miss it. Wait, what now? Hold on, I'm still writing here. My wax tablet can't keep up. That's a terrible name. What was I thinking? I think sometimes my younger self would seriously, like, you know, say, hey, I'm learning. She has no defense for this one. That is just a ridiculous name. That is a ridiculous name. Hey, Rodney, good to see you. And Mr. Jonathan is here. Big hugs for you, big guy. Good to see you. Oh, and he's heading off to a Lego. To build Lego. Go. It's always so lovely to see you. We don't talk enough. I'll talk to you soon. Go build some Lego. And Mr. Rodney Ford, good to see you. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna instead of having this road do this, which is interesting, we're gonna do this, I think. We're gonna have this road kind of split, I think. And so we'll have like a little road doing this. And it's gonna hook or loop back around. We'll have a little plaza here. Mr. Rodney Ford here gives me the best ideas for plazas and stuff and things. Oh, you know what we'll have to do? We'll have to add a purple little mage house to this thing. Every city map I do, I think we should do a little purple mage house. Alright. So this comes off a bridge and into the city, back to a bridge, and so on. So they can hook around and goes deeper and deeper and deeper. This is good. And then here, if this is going to be a way down, this is a major road, right? This has to be a major road right here. I'm going to get rid of this, because stupid. But I am going to keep the shape of the plaza to pay a little bit of a nod. We're going to give the nod to the old map. We're going to have an open kind of area around this temple. I'm not sure if it will be that shape, but again, keep the canon of the old map alive. To something that Forrest said earlier, we'll have less stalagmites on this one. I think I'm going to put another one here though. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll have 4. The level below has got 6. And on this side, I've got this MA. What does MA stand for? Oh, look at this, Boise. Boise Walk. There. So, you know, okay, see this? For naming all of my shit in the past, because there was no internet, I would just look around and grab books and things from, like, my bedroom. And I'd be like, oh, this is, by the way, France from the Air. And it's a gorgeous book. But I would just look at words and see if I could, like, conjure something from it. And I had an atlas of the world, because who the hell doesn't? And I would look at American names. And American names were so different than English names. They seemed almost fantasy-like. And that's where the name Keystone came from, by the way, as in the Keystone Cops. It makes me cringe nowadays. So, Boise came from that naming process. There was no random name generators back then. You just gotta think of it. What the hell does MA stand for? What would MA be the initials for? We've got guild, shop, in, shop, WE. Don't know what WE is. And an MA. I don't know what MA is. Mature audiences. I'm gonna drop a drink. There's no arguing with that. Okay. Forrest, no, they don't. But when you live in England and everything is Chichester and Liverpool and Chester and Manchester, you know, looking at a name that is, God, honestly, Portland, where I live right now, it's like, it's foreign, and there's a certain mysticism to that. And I would look at names from all over the world, right? But if I want a certain feel, and let's say I don't want an Eastern feel, so that's ruling out like Japan and China and that whole area. And Europe is very familiar. I can't name something Denmark. I can't name it Berlin, Because this is my home country, so to speak. It's like this is my immediate turf. So I go out, and I go out into America, and America has something like Denver, and I go, oh, Denver. That sounds foreign. That sounds beautiful. No, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. But, you know, to someone who's 16 or 18 years of age or something in England, it does. It sounds, I don't know, different enough to throw it on a map, apparently. Yeah, okay, so that's how you feel about European city names. Exactly. But when you're in Europe, they're just names of our cities. So it's that logic, but flipped over. Alright, I don't know what MA stands for, and I don't really care. I'm just gonna keep some kind of little courtyard area right there. Oh, market. It's market. That's what... Oh, hold... I was about to say, wouldn't it be useful if we had a key on the map? I feel like the version of me that is 30 years younger is trolling me right now. Alright, I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut the hell up. Jesus Christ. Alright. Zip. Okay, let's dial some of this in. I'm gonna turn off that layer there. So what are we left with? Well, first and foremost, I actually do think that some of these... Well, do I though? Okay, so where my head has gone to are some of these bridges too big? And they might not be. I was going to thin them out, but some of the things I want to actually do with the bridges is actually put buildings on them. You know, like the old Tower of London? And I did that a little bit on the old map. I want to go all out. Let me show you the old map. Let's turn that off for a moment. You see how I've got like these going on right here? And see, I haven't done it enough. There's a barracks or something there. I've got some here. But I want to make this truly like the Tower of London. Let's turn this back. And then this bridge will kind of be over the top, which I think will give us some wonderful shadows. So on these bigger ones, I think we could have some serious fun with like buildings and such. There's God, in Bulgaria, they call it VC. God, and I can't remember what VC stands for now. Damn it. And it's this beautiful medieval city that is a loop. It is literally a U shape of just a valley. It's just this drop, a bit like this actually, a big huge cliff with a river right down at the bottom of it, and they're built into this the remains of the U, the inside of the U. It's incredible, and they have all of these buildings right on the edge of it, or even a little bit further down it, and it's like you go into your back courtyard and it's a drop. It's a mother effing drop, and I was just enamored by this. I mean, I would live in a place like that, make no mistake. And I think this city here has the potential for some shit like that going on, you know? Whether it be on the edge of the cliffs or on the bridges themselves. Particularly the bridges a little bit further down, right? Because as you go further and further down, you've got the shadow, you've got the refuge and everything in the area above. So, like, we're on level 2, level 3 will be nicer, level 1 is the nicest, because there's no one throwing shit down on you. So, I kind of want to do this. So, this is going to be the London Bridge level. So, let's get some other roads marked off. Like, if we're coming in here, it won't be anywhere near that big, but I think something like this would be appropriate. To the marketplace. Yeah, something like that. Onto that bridge. We'll have some buildings or something right here. Overhanging. And so we've got a little market right there. Market has to have a way out into the deeper city, so something like this. I think what we're going to get accomplished today, by the way, is basically marking off where our buildings and everything are going to be. And then the next time we come to this map, then we'll actually start drawing in earnest. So now, with this type of thing, now I just do one side, because if I now draw buildings and leave a gap, it creates the road for me, right? So I'm just gonna do one line there, and here I think we'll kind of follow the shape of the city a little bit, like so. And I'm gonna hate these shapes later on when I actually start adding buildings to this. I'm gonna be, goddamn, why am I doing so many curves? This is a gap here. I think we'll do a little bit of a roadway in the edge of the gap. And we'll be having buildings along here, like so. We'll come back to that. We've got a major road here. Let's actually have a minor road, like so. And again, if I just draw buildings on one side and I leave a gap, we end up with the road formed by the blank space in between. So it'll end up looking something like that. I think that will look pretty good, actually. I don't have a stalagmite over here right now. I think I'm going to add a stalagmite right there. And the road from down below is going to snake up around it. I think that's a cool visual. Are there elevators? I haven't added elevators, but I've got room for elevators. You see on the other side here, where I was talking earlier in the stream and you joined? These buildings, I think I want to make them areas that go up and down. Those red buildings are the shape of the buildings down below. I think that gives us room for elevators. Also, any of the towers could have elevators. Especially the big towers, right? They could absolutely have elevators. Alright, so this is from the area below. So I'm gonna maybe sneak in a little sneaky roadie right here. And I've kind of hollowed out this entire section, but I've got a road. I don't Yeah, we've got a major road on the outside built on the side of the cliff, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Not quite sure why they built a road on the outside of the cliff, but I'm not going to judge them. No judging. Alright, so here we're going to do this. Maybe we'll do a little bit of this. Chain with animal pushed cranks could work. How about anchors Yeah. And the old sail ships. Yeah. I actually wrote a scenario that was very much like that. I think it's one of the best scenarios I've ever written because I was thinking about it from an engineering perspective, and there was this. It was elevated. It was called the Cloud Kingdoms, and like the whole thing was up on the mountain, but they had a chain system with a bucket where the people would get in, and I figured out this whole system to fill another bucket with water to raise this side up, you know. And then it was like at the top there was sluice gates and everything to change the water or whatever. I forget the exact now. And it was brilliant, and I love that type of mechanical, behavioral, I don't know, aspect to a dungeon. I like it when a dungeon is more than just static rooms and static walls, and that you just move between them, doing encounter and encounter. I love it when the dungeon can be interacted with like that, and things change, shape changes, position changes, and I think that's the type of thing you're talking about. And we could totally, honestly, pick some of these towers, look down at the ground floor, and say, you know what, they have an elevator system here, and we'll draw in the little area where the ox or whatever, or probably more fantastical beast, is like lumbering around, like the big huge cave trolls in Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I love that type of thing. I don't know if these buildings are going to be up-down buildings, by the way, but I want to reserve that right. One way that you can draw or mark off roads is literally this. And it works. It totally works doing it that way. I've got a video that I released on YouTube that shows how you can do it that way, but I want to be a little bit more purposeful, I think. We're going to definitely have some buildings along the edges here, so let's give ourselves a bit of a road edge. I like the idea of a big building or something here. Yeah, we'll have buildings like so, which means maybe this. What have we got there? We've got like a stalagmite tower here. Alright, well, it would have a different way towards that, without a doubt. Let's get the back wall. The back wall's definitely going to have some buildings. I kind of like the idea of there being a building here that maybe goes off into a dungeon of some description over here. Lots of ropes and ladders. Actually, yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I could see lots of smaller mechanisms for getting up and down. Yeah. Yeah, even like maybe human gerbil wheels type of thing, you know, with maybe an up and down mechanism here that goes all the way down to the layer below. Alright, so this is a road there, so I think we'll have some buildings going along there, which means probably gotta have a way through here. I feel like there's gotta be something like this going on there. think those are... Yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of a plaza around this thing. I can actually see this being the major temple of the level. Especially with the proximity to the waterfall. There has to be a connection between the temple and the waterfall coming down. Especially with the whole... They've got these statues here holding the bridge up. They've got the bridge for the people to actually walk around. I mean, this has to be a very mega... thing. And maybe they even have pools of water or something, you know, out front in the cave space itself. Alright, Forest, always a pleasure. Don't work too hard over the next couple of weeks. Stay sane. Pop into Discord occasionally, even if you need to just vent. Much love to you. Alright, I think this actually is a good stopping point. We're going to have another mine system here, by the way. I don't know what it's going to look like, but we're going to have a mine system coming off those odd sections. Maybe even multiple mines. Coming into the... And these look like... this. You see these little areas like this? By the way, that, I believe, is Hellhound Caves, which Jim Pinto has written for and is on drive-through RPG right now. I drew Hellhound Caves to be a dungeon system in this city, or in the cave system of this city, and it was about 6 levels deep or something. Well, I've taken that inspiration to create now an infinite dungeon. I'm doing in old school blue, and Jim Pinto is writing for it, and it's systemless. So go check it out and drive through, and if it looks interesting to you, maybe throw a little bit of money his way. The maps I give him for free, I don't get anything for it. Go support the guy though, because he's writing this infinite dungeon for free, and the writing is freaking brilliant. That there, I think, is one of the levels of Hellhound. Yeah, because I calculated it from up above. The entrance to Hellhound Caves is actually up there. I need to remember that. Shoot. Yes. Hellhound Caves. I've got to circle it right there. Hellhound. Need to not forget that. I need to actually draw... I draw the actual levels of Hellhound Caves at this scale and there. But the blue scale is a lot better. Okay. Also, layer above... I'm just circling this. You can't see it right now, but this is where we are dropping shit. That is the lava pit, which the layers above can drop stuff into, so I need to make sure that's on there. Here's an example mine system. So we're going to do something like this on the levels above. Of course they're going to have mines. This is a city, by the way. I'm just going to make the observation. 4 or 5 levels of this. Hollowed out edges. Or hollowed out caves. With dungeons. With cave systems. That apparently go off the map. You could do a whole campaign in this city. I mean, this is like Tullus or something like that. This is a campaign city right here. I'm going to have to work on Jim Pinto to write for it. See if I can twist his arm. Okay, so I think that is a good starting point. Yeah, we'll have other kind of caves going off, or mine systems. Let's not call them caves. Mine systems. Kind of coming off there and off into here. Ores and things like that. And there's our little drop. We need to make sure that we have this accommodated for. I think this is good. I think this is good. So next time we visit this map, we're going to start actually drawing everything in. We're going to start drawing the buildings, drawing in the roads, getting these details in, and erasing everything you see in red, all of the sketch stuff I did tonight. All of that will start melting away as we dial it in with proper ink, so to speak. I am back tomorrow night on the Fantasy Mapping Show on Lord Gasumba's channel on Twitch. Anna and I will be talking about dungeon maps. Please come join the channel, Lord Gasumba. We're going to have a rip-roaring time. We've got a special guest, and it's going to be good. It's going to be informative, and it's going to be just fun all around. So join me then, and then next week I am back on Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday, and maybe even Thursday of next week, doing this map, the Cosmology map. I am going to be talking about the Necropolis map with Mark Greenberg on the Frog God convention, the virtual convention that they've got, and I will be finishing up Necropolis side view. It's busy next week. So until then, everyone, thank you for joining me. And thank you if you're watching this video after the fact. Please consider hitting subscribe. Would love that very, very much. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about me, head on over to my Patreon, link down below, where honestly every single month I just throw out so many goodies, guides, video how-tos, maps from the past, and Hellhound Caves with Jim Pinto's writing for free for all of my patrons. Until then, everyone, I love you. Tomorrow night, the Fantasy Mapping Show. Please be there.